Oh my God, it's so hot. Welcome to Austin, it's hot.
So the way this game works is basically it's single player multiplayer.
This is legit.
I have to put some stuff in my pocket.
Okay, but that's recording.
I understand. God, you're being difficult.
I'm being a nerd.
No, you're being annoying. Take the camera.
I'm Evan with the young folks and we're on the artist alley. How are these composed?
We usually 3D print an original, and these are mold and cast out of resin, so they're way sturdier.
Okay. I was gonna say, because these look like they're 3D prints.
Yeah, those are, I mean, obviously those are 3D printed.
Right.
This one's actually sculpted
Okay.
and mold out of resin. Like something like this one is fiberglass. And I do have
Is
just
that
the
diamond?
scarf alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a raffle going on.
Look at these helmets.
We got some good raffles at 5. Y'all are gonna be around here.
So RTX is kind of a cool amalgamation of a gaming convention, VidCon, internet-based film festival, and they have the ability to host all of these amazing artists while also, you know, promoting themselves, thus a massive line of people at a physical version of the Rooster Teeth store behind me. And even though I get an entire hour to explore the show floor myself, instead of saying hi to people, meeting and greeting, I went ahead and shopped around for some fancy products.
What did you say?
We sell Rooster Teeth fidget spinners, as well as Achievement Hunter, Funhaus, RWBY, Cow Chop.
Yo, guys, I'm really noticing that there's a lack of I Like Me shirts.
I think it's down here.
I'm just kidding, dude. That shirt's like 10 years old.
They did do it! They reissued the I Like Me shirt. I was totally joking when I asked that. I still have mine. I don't know.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe we got him. I can't believe we got him.
But he said yes, and we love him for it. Thank you, Macho Man, wherever you are.
Hey, welcome to the Funhaus panel.
Throughout this whole panel, we're going to be competing. Not only is Lawrence competing with himself and other speedrunners, but we're going to have you guys competing to see who is the Grand Meat Champion.
Showdown.
Showdown. It's a ice bucket. Showdown? Yeah. If you don't give the money to charity, it's a showdown.
Okay, this is taking too much time. Let's just count down from 3. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, DC did similar pants, but I broke mine last night.
Here, sign my pants.
Very different. Do you want to do this and that?
They look space
You
pants.
can sign my pants. I don't want to bombard you.
Well, you know,
Will you sign my cheesy tits? Can you please?
My cheese tits?
my cheesy tits.
Cheese tits?
Yeah.
James,
Well, you have like, don't you have like 3 pairs of pants like that?
I don't know what they are. I was like,
Dude.
okay.
It's ran out of ink though.
Wait, hold on. Who's officially Alfredo? He works for the FBI, I understand.
Okay, so if you're recording that, that's Jeff, not Alfredo. Just
No, I know.
Yeah, that's literally
you need
Jeff.
to know.
I know that.
For my own sake, that's Jeff.
So James, you're a decorated water warrior and one of Elon Musk's most trusted personnel. Can we arm wrestle?
Can we arm wrestle?
Mm-hmm.
You want to try to make it for me? Very much so not strong or in shape.
James.
Is that anything for you?
Seems so unfair.
Okay. We've got Water Warrior James versus, what's your name? Doesn't matter. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. It's not. Are we waiting?
Fuck it.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh. Ooh. All right. Oh!
My ankle harder than I ever have in my life, and now it's like bruised, and I can look around like little kid board. That's perfect.
Raise your hand if you've seen Kip limp around today.
Yeah, not a bit.
I've actually all noticed. Or some of people have noticed.
How
A
embarrassing
couple
was
people.
that?
One person. Nobody's noticed.
Also, Steven, my dad's dead too, thank you.
Your dad's tattoo?
He's dead.
Yeah,
Your
sorry about
dad's
that.
dead too?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Clap for dead dad!
Thank you for your question.
I was wondering if the Boys Online Club podcast would actually be in the Sugarpine 7 family, whether it would be part of Rooster Teeth or not. I mean, apparently. Apparently it is.
It is part of the Rooster Teeth family now.
Yeah, it is part of the. We just signed. Are we allowed to? Wait.
Believe it when I see it.
So we're also going to do probably a gaming show eventually. But we're not including James because he's not like a big gamer.
No, I only play one game.
What's your favorite game?
Maple Story. Just knife sharpening.
Dude, James, tell him about the time you beat that Bloodborne boss.
Oh, so there's this boss in Bloodborne and I killed him.
If you legitimately memorized it, I will be thoroughly impressed and angry.
3, 2, 1.
Anybody?
Oh, you already fucked up. I'll fuck you up, I'll fuck you up, I'll fuck you up, I'll fuck you up. I should actually respect you as a human being.
Mumbler.
Autumn, light it up. Yeah.
He's like,
He's like, we don't care about your brand, do it.
We actually have a termination contract being written up right now.
There it is.
Knowing Rooster Teeth being it mostly male dominated for a long time, were y'all ever nervous about making Always Open and pitching it about like just this female-centered show and
I wasn't
doing something like that?
I wasn't nervous about pitching it because actually Matt and Bernie were the ones who really wanted us to do it. Everyone at the company was very supportive of us having a more female-centered show and a more female cast show. But what I was nervous about was the audience reaction, because our audience is predominantly male, and they are used to watching all these pieces of content that have male stars in them, male cast, and kind of it's like, I guess people see like male sense of humor and female sense of humor different at times, and I think I was worried about them actually enjoying the show and being able to listen to 4 women talk or however many people are on the show and actually being able to relate to that and actually accept it. And they did for the most part. There's still, I mean, I think our first episode had like 6,000 dislikes because of course you have like a bunch of 10-year-old boys who are just like
Why would I listen to a bunch of women?
Yeah. A bunch of SJWs.
Well, women are not funny. Sorry, Elyse. I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
That's actually why we set this up.
That comment section taught me a lot. I handed in my resignation, as I'm sure you all did.
We did, yeah. We actually don't work at Rooster Teeth anymore.
I just wanted to ask, because you guys all obviously are on this podcast, but exist in Rooster Teeth in different facets and as women's roles in these ways, in comedy, in journalism, and gaming, and it's such a topic lately, talking about the place of women, the role of women, and making sure that that's more important. Have you guys found yourselves noticing something that made you enjoy something changing in that part of the industry or something in the RT community that's made you notice that at all?
I've noticed a lot more women coming out of the woodwork within our community. Like I didn't realize how many female fans we had until this show started. Like we get so many tweets and emails and messages from girls in our community being like, I've been loving Rooster Teeth for so many years, but like this is the show. Like I finally feel like I could talk about Rooster Teeth with my friends, and a lot of people also show their girlfriends or fiancés or wives the show, and like that gets them into Rooster Teeth, or like they could watch Rooster Teeth content together because of the show. And I think that's like a huge step forward, and I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, and Rooster Teeth has definitely brought in a lot more women over the past couple of years, which is nice because now we get to have things where we're a coven now. They're like we roll in a pack, and it's really cool to just be able to.
I was how old? Sorry.
Yeah, one of our
background. Sorry.
Yeah, one of our male coworkers called. How many people were out? Like 20?
It was like 20 plus.
20 plus people. We were all having a women's happy hour after work one day, and we ran into one of our male colleagues, and he kind of saw a couple of us that he recognized, and then he looked down at the table and was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What are you guys, bunch of witches? What did he say?
He's like,
you're like a
witch meeting?
This is like a witch meeting? So we renamed our group the Coven.
Yeah. I will say we actually, we are hiring more females, but I think we also need to keep striving for that, because I work in a department of 16 or 17, and I'm the only one. And I didn't really even notice it until we kind of took a family outing, and we went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, and we were all standing in the movie lobby. And I was looking around, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm the only girl here. There are so many guys here. And one of the other guys pointed that out too, and I was like, yeah, we need to hire more women. So I think we're doing a good job, but we can always be doing a little bit better, I think.
I think there are more women across the company.
Yeah.
But then there are microcosms and departments where there's still a ratio that's imbalanced.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for me it's always a treat coming to Austin because I get to hang out with all the ladies, and it's nice. It's just nice.
We're trying to get
any other women in Funhaus? You guys editors or anything?
Other than the other
interns,
editors,
wives or
oh yeah,
girlfriends and stuff like that. I know that you're friends with, but we're always trying to get Elyse here to come be our friend.
These ones are fun. Even
love me
across gaming. I've noticed in the 5 years I've worked in games media, but you probably have just women in games media being in more in higher roles, just more prominent. There's more of them. It's changed a lot in a short time.
Yeah, so I've done been a woman in games media for I don't know 17 years at this point, and in 2004 I joined the first all-female professional gaming team. That was the Fragdolls, and what one of the reasons that was at the time was so special is because it was very rare. I had never had a female friend who was into video games, and so that was actually the first time that I met a lot of other women that played video games. And at first I was like, this could be weird, I don't know what this is going to be like. It was it was unicorns at the time, and oddly enough one of the goals of the group was to become obsolete. It's once no one gives a shit and you're I'm a girl and I love video games, and once the reaction became
okay,
so that's not special, that was the goal. And it's not despite what the studies would have you say when it comes to core gaming, it's still not equal, but it's come so far that the group's disbanded because it just didn't seem like there was a need for it anymore. And that's actually a really cool thing to see. That's what you want. You want to not feel alone anymore, and we're not.
Interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. Matt here.
Hi. Hey, nice to see you all.
When you want to pick the next question?
Sure. I saw your hand go up.
If you could go back and tell yourselves whenever you were first starting this that you're gonna have 3 movies and doing all that y'all are doing now, would have believed you, and the process of trying to explain that?
I think, yeah. I think so. I mean, I always felt like we had the ability and the opportunity to do something bigger and really cool. And for the first, we were talking about this in Founding Fathers now, but I don't know, the first 6 or 7 years, we really almost functioned as a rock band that was on tour, a tour that never ended, and we were, because people think of us all we were doing was Red versus Blue and a couple side projects. but half of our year was just going to conventions around the country nonstop. And so it was a lot of travel and a lot of meeting people, and really it was like being in a rock band because it was just, 5 or 6 of us, and it was a lot of fun. And I think we always wanted to do more. That those first years were just such a whirlwind. And once we were able to kind of slow down and really kind of assess like what our ambitions were and what we wanted to do, we were able to kind of slowly start putting those building blocks into place.
I remember the first couple of years, when we were first starting and before things had really taken off, I was always hesitant to buy anything.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think it's gonna last. Like,
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna buy. Like I'll just keep this old shitty truck that keeps breaking down. Like I'll put a little bit of money into it.
He had a truck was this your truck or Jeff's truck? The one that like you had to hit it with a wrench to
it was my truck.
lock it over?
And
that's when he's like famous going to these conventions, and people were like screaming and running after him, and then you could tell him he's like hitting his engine block with a wrench.
It was the starter in my defense.
Was it the starter?
It's
okay.
the starter, yeah.
And in his defense, he would hit fans back.
That's right. So, everyone got a piece of the wrench.
But yeah, even like I don't know. It's just weird always assessing like I don't know if this is gonna take off. Like this is fun right now. This is really big. It's like in my dreams I was like I hope that it continues and I hope we can parlay it into future success and bigger things. But like when you're in the moment, it's like I talked about this at the Founding Fathers panel. Like I was living with Geoff because I didn't want to sign a lease with an apartment. I was like I don't know if I'm gonna have a job or I'm gonna have money for this.
I had to make it work because I was more all in than some of the other guys in that I had a whole career in LA that I quit to make less money to move to a different town where I lost all of my contacts in Hollywood. And I remember at the time when, I don't know, we'd only been doing it like 6 months or so, and it seemed like it was going really well. Of course, we hadn't made a dime, but it seemed like it was going well. And I said to my wife, hey, I think I want to quit my high-paying job in LA and move back to Austin to give away videos on the internet for free. She was like, sounds good, let's do it. So that was, I don't know why she said that, but it worked out.
When I first found out you were like coming back to Austin, I asked you, why?
Why would you do that?
What are you doing?
I had a child? That's a bad idea.
I was like, you got a kid? Yeah. You're really all in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of on the heel of that, because I know you guys were talking a few minutes ago, and he was asking about you guys revolutionizing this industry, and it's exploded exponentially since, while still being young. What's some of the challenges on doing what you guys are doing right now, but still maintaining the spirit of that from when you first started? Just because there's so much white noise on it now.
Yeah, I mean, the white noise thing, I mean, I think that's the question we get asked the most by younger creators who come to this show and that we meet around it. Like, how do you get noticed, right? It's how what everybody wants to know. And I think now it's probably the wrong question to be asking. I think, how do you sustain engagement with your audience is maybe a better approach to it, because there have been so many things that have come and gone since we've been doing this, and getting attention for 2 minutes, it used to be 15 minutes of fame, Andy Warhol said, and now it's like 15 seconds, really. I'm going to say it's not easy, but there's always another idiot, jumping off his roof, right? And so, like, is that really what you want to be competing with? I feel like if you're trying to turn this into a career and make something long term, the key is being consistent and being engaged with the people who support you. And if you can do those two things and do just one thing well, like for a long time, like we had one show. We tried to make that show as good as it could possibly be, and as we got older and more mature, and we started hiring more people, and we were able to do more things, we tried to focus on, let's just do this next thing, just make sure we could do it really, really well. And that's it. And so for us, like, I think the struggle every day is maintaining quality and consistency and not getting distracted by, should we make a Harlem Shake video, right? It's like, well, everybody's going to make one. Do we need to make one too? Probably not, And not to say you can't jump on, like, avoid every single fad, you know, because those are fun too. But don't build a strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like even a lot of the questions that we get, and I'm not sure this is going to answer this effectively, it's just sort of like goal-oriented, or like, you know, when was that moment, you know, that whatever, and it's like process-oriented, you know, and that's something that I've learned along the way as well, where it's like, when you start out, you're just like, I want to make a movie, like that's my goal, and that's fine, and that, you know, maybe that's not the wrong way to look at it, but for us, it's just more of a process, you know, and again, like having a conversation with the audience, you know, it gives you opportunities along the way to like, hey, maybe this thing over here could work, or maybe this thing over here could happen, and it's more of a process versus like, you know, which is strange, you know, so it's almost like if you're a young filmmaker or someone who's trying to get into it, and I know Bernie and you guys have said this a lot, just sort of like just go out and do it. And so it's like now more than ever, you can see a lot of the YouTubers just kind of go out and they do it every day. And you'll learn a lot from that. You'll get better as a filmmaker, and you'll find opportunities along the way as you go, rather than just, I'm going to make this movie that I wrote. You know, but I don't know. It's, you know, it's different with the amount of material that's out there.
There's a weird analogy that someone made once, and I think about it a lot when I think about, like, people ask us about our success, and I always think about this analogy. It's like, if you ask someone who won the lottery how to get rich, they're going to tell you to buy lottery tickets. So, you know, maybe our advice isn't necessarily the best advice to listen to. And on that note, buy lottery tickets.
In development, how much time goes into machinimating versus animation versus other stuff, scripting and voice acting?
Well, yeah, that's the short answer to that question is it really depends on the script. I would say a normal script comes together in about a week, a couple days of outlines, a couple drafts, and then a couple final revisions. Voice recording could take probably, you know, maybe a day for every like 3 or 4 episodes if you add them all the time together. It's usually stretched out over a couple of weeks. Editing the voices into a timeline in Premiere usually takes about 3 hours. Machinimating will take about a week, typically, between 4 and 7 days. And then animating that when it's all done, if it's one animated shot, it'll take like 2 or 3 hours. And if it's a big animated sequence, it'll take like 2 or 3 weeks. So it's very dependent on the episode, I guess, is the answer to your question. But most episodes, you know, we have a weekly release schedule. Most episodes take about a week's worth of work. Different departments are working on different episodes, but it all adds together to about a week for all the teams.
How often do you guys find yourselves doing rewrites on the scripting, or even in the midst of doing machinimating, if at all? I'm sure there's a whole hierarchy of people that the scripts go through before you even start doing the recordings, right?
Yeah, so I'll write like 3 drafts of a script, and then I'll send it to Miles, and he'll point out all the parts that are CBB, which stands for could be better. I learned that on the first script I wrote, because there was CBB written everywhere. And then he and I will go back and forth 3 or 4 times to get a final script, and usually at that point it doesn't change, and that's not always the case. There was a scene recently we had to change because I had it as like a walk and talk, you know, like a Sorkin, 2 characters just walking and talking, and then because of the Halo 5 stuff we discussed, it was like, well, you gotta try to find some other way to do it instead.
Yeah, so like we could get it done, but like depending on how long it is, you know, it might be easier. It's like if we can like break it up, you know, we'll walk for a little bit and then maybe like let's find a place for them to stop so we can get the shots in. Otherwise, we could be at it like, you know, doing it again and again and again. Hopefully their legs don't glitch, but by the time that happens, maybe I was walking too fast, or maybe Josh was walking too fast, or we have our mission assistant Austin from the Lone Few. They did the GTA like animated adventure type shorts that we had. You know, it's just like by the time there are no glitches on the legs, anything else could have gone wrong. So it makes getting those takes a lot harder.
And sometimes the files, theater files in Halo 5
yeah.
just vanish.
Yeah, that's happened before. That's fun.
Finally get the thing and it's just gone. Mm-hmm. But every time we have to make a change, in the episode to accommodate something like that. I always try to make sure that whatever we change it to is even better than the original idea, so it's never like a derivative of that original scene. Like in the example of what we're talking about right now, I think what we ended up with is even better than the original walk and talk, because there's like a few added jokes and like a new level of absurdity in the scene that wasn't there originally. So.
Do you mind if I just throw in a follow-up real quick?
Yes.
Okay. That being said, do you guys find that it's you have the ability to stretch your filmmaking fundamental ideas a little bit more in this case, or do you find that doing that is more challenging because you're filming in a game engine, or is it kind of somewhere in between?
I guess it depends, because machinima inherently is a little bit constricting because you can't see their face, so it's just the head boss. But depending on you learn how to work with it, so the way like a character does their head bob can like reveal a lot about the character. So Caboose is like real happy, so he's like all over the place sometimes. Locust is a lot more subtle, so there are restrictions, but you do find a way to work around it. But yeah, I can't. I don't know. There are ways to work around it.
It's mostly fun to try to be like, ooh, to convey this emotion, and I don't have eyes to do it, So how are we gonna do it? It's a lot of it is like the length of the pause before they speak the line is how much emotion they have. Little things like that.
On the note of subjectivity and opinions on stuff and these kind of commercial media things, it's obviously noticed that on the internet, people's emotions get exponentially blown up with disembodied egos, but I've come to notice as I've matured, gamers are especially fickle and visceral about their emotions and reactions to these things. Do you guys think you might have some kind of idea on why that might be and what you see on your day-to-day with like the comments on your
because everyone's an internet tough guy, myself included. I talk about it all the time, and it's a tired story for kind of funny fans. Just like I remember, when I was sitting there watching The Office, second to last season, and I wrote the tweet, @NBC needs to take The Office out back and shoot it. My girlfriend at the time looked over and was like, yeah, you're right. And then she saw me start deleting. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing exactly what everybody else does. When you're mad about something, you immediately want to say you're mad about it. Fuck The Office, and I can't believe they did this, blah, blah, but I'll be there next week watching it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Oh my God, Assassin's Creed. They just keep pumping this game out. Y'all keep buying it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that momentary thing of being caught up in it, but it just takes that little bit. Like, it's the internet, so you're firing off comments, never worrying about it. And then for our experience, I'm sure it's the same for you, anytime somebody does talk shit on the internet, usually they have a fucking fake name and a fake little avatar. And if you say something back to them, they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was having such a bad day. It wasn't really about you. My mom just walked out." I had no idea you'd see this. We're a human being, you fucking idiot. Of course we're gonna see it. Yeah. And it's like I tried really hard at work today, so to come home and see a Reddit thread that's picking me apart on one comment, it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
I honestly don't think that gamers are any different than anyone else, any other scene on the internet. I think it's just the community that you're in and that I'm in and that we're in, and so that's where we have visibility. Yeah. I think if we were all into fashion blogging, we'd probably be having the same conversation about why the fashion blogging scene is so fucking fickle and mean.
The way I used to talk about it, right, is the fact that I think that, especially with this internet celebrity, there's such a disconnect to it in the way that when I'd watch TV and I'm watching the Kardashians, I'll sit there and somebody has I'm like, this is terrible. These people are horrible people. Blah, blah. I don't mean that they're really horrible people. I'm just saying based on what's happening, right? Yeah. And the internet is saying that, but then you have the ability right there to post it. You know what I mean? That's the thing, and that's always the thing when people, I'll be a rando, a normal person, and they look at my Twitter like, oh my God, you have 1 million followers? And it's like, well, yeah, but like, Tom Holland doesn't, but he's a bigger deal than me. My audience is just at a terminal where it's easy to click around and do these things.
There's also a passion involved with gaming, and I think that when you really drill down into like gaming or movies or like fashion or anything else, there's always this passion that bubbles up all the time. And I think I'd probably say gamers are using the internet more than, other communities and things like that. The other communities are slowly porting over, but for now, there are a lot of gamers on the internet. And they know how to register their displeasure immediately on 7 different platforms because they're also passionate about, PUBG or No Man's Sky or whatever else. And I think that's something that I'm learning how to deal with every single day in brand new ways.
I grew up in the punk community in the punk scene, listening to punk music and going to punk shows and making punk zines. And I would argue that like that scene is way more passionate and way more judgmental than gaming. They just none of those guys can afford computers. And if they had them, they would pawn them for beer. You know, so. To speak of
Settle this for me. Is the Warped Tour punk?
No.
Thank you very much. Tell Andy next time you see him.
Sure.